My name is Taylor Gibson. I perform as EFFY. It's 4 letters, EFFY. It means a lot of things, but I would say my character is a demonic energy of good that tells you to not worry about what the world is telling you what to do and do what you want to do. And I'm also, in human terms, an independent gay pioneer of professional wrestling. I'm from the American South. I've lived all over the American South, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida. I've wrestled and started wrestling all over the American South. And now I'm losing my accent because I travel worldwide doing professional wrestling. But I always go home to Atlanta, Georgia. My first exposure was from my dad. He would watch a lot of the WCW, NWA. He was never a events guy, never a WWF guy. So he had me on a lot of the Mid-South stuff and Crockett promotion stuff and into the WCW stuff. But then the first time I ever saw independent wrestling was actually at a Marine State Fair at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina when we were living right by that base. And I went to the wrestling show that was at the fair, and it blew my mind that this existed outside of WWE or WCW or wherever the TV shows were. So I never thought you could be a pro wrestler. I thought you kind of had to be born in a factory or go through a specific childhood training where they kept you in a room somewhere until you were ready to be a TV star. And so I kind of put it off my mind, but then I was working after I graduated from college and I quit drinking because of a really bad acid trip. And right after that, I started wrestling just because I was like, if the world is fake and I have all this money I'm not spending on beer, let's see at least if it feels real, or if anything feels real, or if John Cena's real, which I talked to Sabu recently. John Cena is apparently real. I haven't seen it for myself. Who inspired me growing up? I have a tattoo of Dusty Rhodes on my left foot. It's an incredibly hard question for me to go back to inspiring me from the beginning. And I think that's my fault because I'm so deep now that I look at everything through a completely different lens, wherein yes, I've been able to change the pro wrestling industry in some ways, but also I think I've ruined parts of it for myself to where most of your childhood heroes are probably bad people. And now in an age where we can learn everything about everybody, trying to not be that example going forward is actually what's keeping me going and why I don't throw my head at the wall every time I hear about another idiot pro wrestler or a world of pro wrestling that goes against what we're trying to do. I like that there's no plan. Obviously professional wrestling has gotten flack before because it's scripted or it's predetermined or fake, they want to say. I wish it was fake. It hurts so bad. But knowing once I'm in the ring, once I'm in the match, it's just me and the other person or me and the other people that are in that match. And depending on how the night's going, what the audience is feeling, what I'm feeling, anything can happen, anything can change. And I don't think there's another form of entertainment where you go and you go what's the show gonna be like tonight? And they go, I honestly don't really know. Broadway, they play the same play every night. Bands, they play the same set list every night. Comedians, they do the same set list every night. I will do similar things to what you may have seen, but there's always a chance that we're just gonna throw it to the wind and see what happens. I mean, I think starting out in wrestling, I faced a lot more hurdles, but I'm also my parents will tell you, I'm kind of a contrarian, I'm kind of a brat. I've always been, don't tell me what to do kind of a person. And so as I was expressing my frustrations through professional wrestling, through the performing, through being loud about things you're not supposed to be loud about, through doing things in matches that they say is, not what professional wrestling is, or bringing in a different audience, the most frustrating thing now is expecting others to have the same energy left and power left to fight the way I'm fighting. And so I think, I want to continually, whether I'm right or wrong, whether there's someone with smarter ideas or someone who is more well thought than me, I'm gonna tell you how I feel about things, and I'm gonna punch through the wall if I can, and I'm gonna kick you in the shins if I can, if I don't like what you're doing or if I disagree with what you're doing. But I also am very frustrated by the fact that if I'm not doing it, that the expectation is on people who are in wrestling, who are very talented performers, to constantly have to be on the aggressive, to constantly have to be defending, to constantly have to keep explaining to people proper pronouns or gender identity, or, you know, not everything is comedy when it comes from our world. And I don't like the fact that now you are not only expected to be a performer of a top caliber to do this in this position, but because you are different, because you're LGBTQ, you also have to continually fight uphill. And I don't mind doing it. I've kind of accepted my Sisyphus role. Like, I'm gonna roll the fucking ball up the hill until my legs give out. But I just don't think everybody else should have to roll that ball all the time. And so I think it's just frustrating to me that, like, as I started wrestling training 12 years ago. I've been professionally wrestling 11 years now. And I still every day have to keep like a little bit of a knife to what I am, because I'm constantly still fighting the same battles over and over, and it's nightmarish and it's annoying, but I just like don't mind it as much as others would, and I don't think they should have to constantly be on this offensive. I think creating spaces where everybody feels okay being themselves and not also writing, you know, a dissertation or writing a defense of how they exist or having to explain themselves every 10 minutes, it makes the wrestling better, it makes the product better, and it's bringing in more people that we haven't seen before. Instead of trying to fight to be in their spaces all the time, you know, it's nice to be able to have a few spaces of our own that people outside of our community are kind of finding out like our existence. And so I hope going forward, there's less need for us to exist so aggressively. But right now, like, I thought we were getting somewhere, and now I'm thinking I have to be even more aggressive than ever, but that's me, and I don't think I should put that burden on everybody else to have to fight for their life every day. I think when I look at the role EFFY played, EFFY at least is going to be the loudest in the room about things, or not afraid to take a risk that some people might consider a failure and other people might enjoy. I think the hard thing now for people getting into wrestling that are LGBTQ wrestlers is, since there are more of us, which is beautiful, since there's a bounty of different talent amongst this scope, it's hard to differentiate yourself outside of just being the trans wrestler or the gay wrestler or the bi wrestler, the lesbian wrestler. So now we're having to take a little bit more of a nuanced approach to how we're doing things, especially within storylines, because for years, if you went to a wrestling show and saw either probably a straight person doing a gay gimmick or someone gay on the show, it was probably played for comedy or played for silliness. And now we have multiple people from the community on the show, and we want to have that differentiation. And I've been doing the EFFY's Big Gay Brunch shows, and I love being able to book talent who is completely not like me, completely from a different community to me, and completely different character to me. And having that diversity is really important, but I'm hoping that we get a little further. My hope keeps being that we get better and we can do more things where I don't have to be like, and this is the trans wrestler, but here we are, and that's where we're at. It's very difficult. And so creating the discernment between, oh, here's the gay wrestlers, and here's The Undertaker, and here's Triple H, and here's the gay wrestlers, having us in this big bubble together, we have to work even harder to differentiate ourselves outside of what the immediate reaction is from a lot of people of just like, there's the gay one. It's adding layers to it to serve ourselves and to continue growing, so we're not just all showing up the same way. Yeah, I think historically I've probably broken quite a few barriers, but I have a really bad problem of living in any sort of reminiscing or any sort of reflection. And so like, yeah, I've run 12 big gay brunches in 2 different countries, in 6, 7 different states. I've consistently been one of the most booked people globally, quantitatively. I am now a Game Changer Wrestling World Champion, a gay man who is the world champion right now. All of these things are cool and all of these things are knocking, but like, not that I'm not really proud of myself. I think like, to look back at the doors you've opened is to run into the door you haven't. And so I'm very cautious about the way I reminisce on things. And I think someday I'll be able to sit down and reflect on everything. But for now, like, it's wonderful. Thank you for the acknowledgement. I love it. I broke a barrier. We have so much shit to do that we cannot sit and reflect on how good we've been before. I think overall, when people hear inclusive, they probably think soft or tender, or, oh, we must all be kind, but really inclusivity to me just means not addressing everything new with aggression immediately. And I think we have a real knee-jerk reaction a lot of the times to if something is different than us, it's very easy to diffuse that with harsh humor. It's very easy to diffuse that with just yelling at something that you don't know what it is. The inclusivity is not just that all of these people exist there, it's that when I have a question about your community, when I have a question about your background, when I see something I don't understand, that we're all approaching things with respect of the person and respect of the self, where I can say oh, I've never seen anything like this before. I've never met a person like you before. Is there anything you feel comfortable sharing with me that would help me understand you better? Versus, I never seen nothing like that. And then months later you hear them go but yeah, they're really hard. They're actually a really cool person. And it's just being in a space where your existence isn't immediately approached with aggressiveness or with force just because you don't fit into the mold. I want the inclusivity to be that anybody who walks into the room can be different, can be whoever they are. We all are going to learn to our capacity on it, but also whatever you are, don't be a fucking dick. It's me versus Minoru Suzuki in Dallas, Texas. I think Suzuki worked 9 matches that weekend. I think I only worked 4 or 5. But at that point in the weekend, I had watched every 2002 ruthless aggression aggro wrestler try to prove how tough they were to a 50-something-year-old man who is an incredible MMA fighter, who is an incredible entertainer, who is a legend of wrestling. And I said to myself pretty early in my career, whatever dream matches I get, whatever moments I'm in the ring with somebody who I looked up to or saw on TV or recognized from wrestling, I am going to give them the best match possible. I'm going to do my hardest. I am going to have an EFFY match. And so when I approached wrestling someone like Minoru Suzuki, they've done comedy before somewhat, but this run they were doing of murder grandpa, he's in his 50s, he's gonna kill you. And he was killing everyone. When I kissed him at the end of the match and we built the whole match towards this, and he really enjoyed that too. As soon as I gave him my idea, he walked away for 5 minutes. Jimmy Wang came over and said, do you guys need any help with the Japanese translation? And Suzuki came back, pitched this whole thing to me that he had come up with. And the point I'm getting to is, at the end of the weekend, I didn't see that man sell for any of you losers, but he sold for EFFY's kiss and he was spitting and wiping his mouth the whole time he was exiting. And to me, being the only person he really sold for that weekend, in a way that's an EFFY way, it made it a very, very cool accomplishment. This is where I'm too honest, I'm exhausted. Right? I've done this nonstop for 10 years. I did this through the entirety of the pandemic, nonstop. This has been the only way I pay my bills for the past 6 years, is professional wrestling. So I would love to get to a point where not as much live appearance is required, but I also am one, in my mind, looking out at the world, I'm gonna brag a second, I'm one of the very few middle-class blue-collar entertainers. I straight up pay my bills with entertainment. I've never had a contract anywhere. I have a lot of sources of income from wrestling, be it streaming, be it doing cameos, be it doing merchandise, be it doing seminars. But all of these things have made it possible for me to live a normal life like this. I would like to see ways to expand that. I'd like to see ways that would expand it selfishly for me to grow, but also ways that don't require me falling off a balcony or whatever the hell we're gonna do today that will send the same message out to people. I think it's frustrating sometimes that I constantly have to perform live because that's what they pay me to do. But there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of interviews, of footage, of podcasts, of streams of me already that I think there's so many people in the world who have no clue what we're doing. And that's awesome. I'm not saying they all have to know, but I'm saying for us to sit and go oh, well, EFFY's been in the PWI, EFFY's a world champion, EFFY's traveled around the world. It still leaves so much for us to expand into. And I think I want to figure out how to maximize the people that are watching us and the people that know about us, because I think wrestling fans know about us, gay wrestling fans know about us, the regular 2S LGBTQ plus person off the street probably doesn't think we exist, probably thinks we are too violent to be in any way inclusive, probably thinks there's a lot of backwoods, conservative, aggro trash shit going on here. And in reality, wrestling is cool to me because we all consent to what we're doing in the ring. It may be violent, it may be scary, it may be this, but it's the story of overcoming evils. It's the story of triumphing through your personal battles. It's the story of, hey, it's okay that we're punching each other. We both agreed to it to be here. And so having things that are a little bit more aggro in the wrestling world fit into our inclusiveness and diversity. Like, it's not lame to be diverse and inclusive. It's actually sick and aggressive and awesome to go like, yo, these people are from my community. These people look and act like me. These people are putting on crazy stunt fights for us. And these people are both actually working together. I think that's actually more beautiful because it makes it less scary. I was outside of a building after I had a match the other day and I was smoking a celebratory cigarette. And a woman who was at the show walked by me and my opponent smoking a cigarette together, and she goes, "Oh, thank God." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're not, you know." She goes, "No, the way you fought each other, I honestly thought you hated each other, so it's good to see you worked it out." And to me, like, I want that community. I want the community who's like, I hope you kill him and take his belt. And also, like, I'm glad you guys worked through it, it's okay. You don't have to hold this your whole life. So wrestling fans haven't typically been like that. They've been very like, oh, they broke the kayfabe, they got pulled over together, we saw them leaving the restaurant. And so if we're bringing in our fans and they're helped by the fact that, yes, this is a performance, this is a show, and yeah, I'm bleeding, but like I've done this for 10 years, I know how to bleed. It's a very fun dynamic for them to understand that it exists and not have to just like live in a constant like I love that, but also like, it's just as diverse. Don't join the industry until you're full as a complete person. And what I mean by that is like, we're figuring stuff out, we're doing stuff. Make sure you have education. Make sure you have secondary skills you can go back on. It's a wonderful, blessed story to get where I am today, but to tell you that there's not even more things you have to deal with, even more problems that you have to fucking come across. It's fun to love wrestling, and some days I wish I'd never actually done it myself, which sounds crazy, but I'm here. I've done it, it's great. I'm in a very rare boat. Don't put all your eggs in the basket. Have support within your community. Go out and meet people that are not in wrestling. The amount of wrestlers I know now that the only thing they do is hang out with wrestlers. All I'm saying is like, we have so much in this world to explore and so much for us as LGBTQ2S people to find out about. This is a beautiful way to find out about yourself in some ways, but also it may not be the pot of gold you think it is. And like, enjoy it at your level and take from it what it gives you, but don't think it owes you anything or anything is a personal attack on you. It's an objective chaos thing. It's just like living real life. It feels like things are against us sometimes, or it feels like things are for us sometimes. It's made up, it's objective. So don't come in here and break yourself or think it is a you problem if it doesn't work out in the world of wrestling. But also, if you do come in here and you don't commit 100%, it will kill you and eat you alive.